Mic check 1, 2.
Good Friday morning and welcome.
Hold on, we haven't made this decision yet. Do you want to start or you want me to start?
You start.
Well, you already said good morning.
Well, you can start.
This is the first time we've ever done this together, isn't it?
This is, yeah.
So, all right, well, welcome to KNN. Good morning.
Good morning.
It's our streaming podcast. It's a very last one for the entire year. We've done 306, well, no way, I guess we didn't do them on the weekends, did we?
No.
So you have to subtract however many, 52
I would
weekends.
not be able to calculate that.
Ooh, been a lot. So I'm David Sears, and this is
Priscilla Cameron.
hot dog. Look at there. We're off to a flying start. You got. I'm not like the other guys. Mm-hmm. When you do this with me, I go wherever it takes me.
Wherever it takes. Okay, well, you guys get ready because he's giving you a warning here. Yeah. At least you gave us a heads up.
Yeah, you know it's coming. So.
Well, we do have a lot of stories that we're going to be talking about today. We're going to also have your New Year's Eve forecast coming up with Justin Horn, but we're going to have an update on Southwest Airlines and big news for Starbucks Rewards members.
Do you drink Starbucks?
I do.
Do you?
You?
No.
No?
I don't drink coffee. I don't drink anything hot.
How are you in news and you don't drink coffee?
I don't know.
Anything hot?
I don't drink anything hot. So now I'll eat soup and chili, and I mean I'll eat hot food, but I don't drink hot chocolate. I don't drink coffee. I don't drink tea. Don't know why.
He's all about the cold drinks, guys.
All about the fun stuff.
But in the winter, you don't want anything cold.
Well, I'm the only guy sitting in the stands at a football game when it's freezing, drinking a Diet Coke. I don't know.
Well, that story's not for you. It's for the people, okay?
There you go. So if you're a Starbucks fan, listen up. We'll have something for you in just a second. But first, sad news, of course. Brazil and the world lost one of the greatest athletes to ever grace a sports field, not just the pitch. Pele, also one of the greatest ambassadors for the sport of soccer.
He played in his first World Cup when he was 17, the youngest player to ever participate in that tournament. He played competitively for 20 years.
And after soccer, he became a businessman, a politician. He wrote songs. He was also an advocate for education.
He had been suffering from colon cancer since last year. His funeral will be held next Monday and Tuesday. Pele was 82.
If you know anything about soccer, you've probably heard his name at some point. Every kid, even in this country, knows who Pele is.
So I am not that familiar with soccer, but I did listen to a podcast earlier that was talking about him and just how big of a person that he was for that world. I did read that he's the only player to have ever won 3 World Cups.
Yeah.
So that's pretty interesting. I mean, and I also read that at his last match in Brazil's jersey, it was in 1971 against Yugoslavia. At that game, he took a final victory lap with hundreds of thousands of fans actually pleading for him to continue playing
to stay.
for them. Yeah,
they miss him. And he was one of the most creative guys to ever get on a soccer field. I mean, you see the bicycle kick where, the ball comes this way and that's back here and he's kicking it back over his head. I mean, he was fantastic on the field, and you never knew where he was going or what he was going to do next, which made him such a great player. And of course, the Brazilians absolutely loved him. And I think that's another example of how big soccer is around the rest of the world because everybody knows who he is, and it's not quite that big here in the United States, at least not yet. It continues to grow.
Yes.
But that's just an example of how big this is worldwide and what he meant to this sport worldwide, not just in Brazil, but worldwide.
Everywhere.
So yeah, absolutely amazing.
I'm still waiting to catch on to that. Hopefully it'll grow eventually, but yes, he was 82.
Well, the U.S. did pretty good in the World Cup this year compared to past years, so that's what they need to do. And he was a great ambassador for soccer, so he is going to definitely be missed in that world of soccer, and even just in the world of politics and entertainment down there in Brazil. So
yeah. All right. Well, after years of trying to publicly release former President Donald Trump's tax returns, the time has come. The House Ways and Means Committee released 6 years of his federal tax returns today.
They span from 2015 to 2020, so when he was campaigning to be president of the United States is when they started. Now, they redacted a lot of versions to omit personal information like his social security number, bank account numbers. What they did show is that he paid only $750 in federal income tax back in 2017. That was the same year that he lost millions, though. He didn't pay 2020 taxes at all. 2018 and 2019, he paid a combined $1.1 million.
Now, Trump was the first president in decades to not voluntarily release his returns to the public. In a campaign video today, he calls the release an outrageous abuse of power and completely unconstitutional.
Yeah, this has been a political football going back and forth ever since he came down that stairway when he is announcing that he was running for president. He always said he was under audit and he couldn't release his tax returns, and the Democrats have been after him, and the Republicans say they shouldn't be doing this, shouldn't be making it public. So this will continue for a while, but some of the numbers we saw in what was released today had already been released like a couple of weeks ago. So I haven't really looked, so I don't know if there's a whole lot of new information in there, but I guess we can
Wait, now you can go look for
we can
yourself.
go look and find out. Yeah. I think they had to do it, it was be made public because it became part of the archives, right? Something like that.
Maybe so. But the other big story that we've been talking about all week long, those travel nightmares for Southwest passengers, maybe you were one of them. But today things are looking a little bit better than they have in days. I believe that there were only about 40 canceled flights today, so they've returned to a relatively normal flight schedule.
According to Flight Aware, only 40 flights were canceled, as you said. But Southwest is still under a lot of scrutiny over all those cancellations that left hundreds of thousands of people stranded and struggling to get to their destinations. And now that they get there, they got to find their bags. Where is my bag? There's no telling. The Transportation Department says it is reviewing the issues, and the airline could face consequences if it fails to make things right for passengers.
Now, Southwest has blamed the weather for a lot of the cancellations, but people, including Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg, are saying it's more than that. And they're comparing how Southwest rebounded a lot more slowly than other airlines.
Yep.
So basically they're saying, no. It cannot just be the weather. There's more behind this, and they want to know if it could have been prevented or if Southwest is actually going to take care of the customers like it's saying it's going to.
Well, that's one thing that we heard from the CEO this morning on Good Morning America, and he talks about how if you have receipts from hotels, from rental cars, from gas, from food, if you had to change flights and that cost you money, keep those receipts. There's now a website that's available for you to show them that you have these receipts, and they're supposed to reimburse you. He didn't say exactly how much you would get reimbursed, but they're supposed to be able to reimburse you at least some of that money. Hopefully it's all of it, but we'll see, because it's gonna. I heard an economic analyst on the radio this morning say it's going to cost Southwest somewhere in the neighborhood of $600 million.
I believe
total
it.
For all the things that they went through. So
It's just been crazy, and there's been not just like, the small things, but this has really impacted people who were either waiting, to have medical procedures done. They've missed out on some of those. So I think for a lot of people, it goes beyond just reimbursing for the flight. Like, there's things that they really may not be able to make right for some people.
Well, you lost Christmas. A lot of these people, Christmas 2022 has come and gone, and they're stuck in some airport or some hotel somewhere, not with their family. So you can't.
Maybe even now,
you can't pay enough money to get that back, and it's just been amazing. There is an article written by a pilot who was very, very honest, and it was out there on the internet, and he was very honest, and he was talking about how this problem was not a weather problem per se. He said the weather on that day would have created a problem, but they should have been able to deal with that and then move on. So it was like just a one-day weather event. It shouldn't have lasted this long. And he was upset. Employees are upset because they've been warning the management of Southwest for years, if not decades, that this is going to happen because of their IT system.
Yeah.
Their system is so outdated that they can't figure out how to get pilots and crews from here to there to over there. And so he was very honest, and he said this shouldn't be happening, and he was apologizing, but it was a very interesting article.
And I'm wondering too, like you mentioned, it's going to cost them what, $600 million?
That's what she said. That's what she estimated.
Does that include all of the updates that they're going to need for that system, or is that going to be on top?
I think that's just the money that they're going to have to pay back. What it's cost them in reputation, what it's cost them in just, more people coming on and buying tickets. So, you never know how many people have decided that they're not going to fly Southwest anymore.
Yeah.
Although I did hear one comment earlier was like Southwest may be the best airline over the next few months, few years, because they're going to have to start doing a lot of things to recapture those passengers and those customers. And summertime's coming up. And what happens during the summer? Thunderstorms, weather. Let's see how they handle it.
Let's see. Maybe they're going to start offering more affordable flights, or trying to get people just back in. So we'll see.
Start giving their frequent flyer points, their rapid rewards points to people, to passengers. Or let's see how they be interesting.
We'll see what happens. But speaking of rewards, Starbucks drinkers, this next story is going to be for you. If you use the app to redeem rewards, it's going to be changing next year. And I know you said you don't drink coffee.
I don't. So this is like your story.
Well, starting in February, the company is raising the Star Bonus redemption. So program members earn stars when they make purchases. Credit cards and other payments earn 1 star per dollar, and if you pay with a Starbucks card, you get 2 stars per dollar. So right now, members are able to cash in at 25, 50, 150, 200, and 400 stars. But that's all changing. Members are now going to need 100 stars to get a cup of hot, like you don't like, or iced coffee, a tea, a baked good, a packaged snack, or a to-go cup. And those special lattes that they offer that everybody's been scoring with only 150 points? Not anymore. You're going to need 200 points for a latte, a frappuccino, or that hot breakfast item that you like. And then the last category is 300 points, and you'll get a salad, a lunch sandwich, a protein box, or some of their packaged grounds. So this is going to take effect February 13th. And another thing that I wanted to mention is super producer Alyssa Medrano was telling us that she saw something on TikTok. So TikTok is the source of all evil right now. She says she found a hack on TikTok of how to kind of manipulate the reward system to get a better coffee with less rewards. So everybody started doing that, and my theory is that too many people were cashing in with the cheaper amount, and so that's why they're raising it.
They were taking advantage of that.
That's what I think.
So TikTok wasn't all that bad for at least those people.
Well, at least this year, but they ruined it for all of us.
And then you want to know why I don't drink coffee. So I'm so confused now on these points and what you're supposed to. How do you get like the points?
You just get the app, and then you scan it every time you're buying, or you can
Well, how many times you got to buy to get like 100 points to get the cheap latte thing?
Well, it depends now, because right now it's a lot more, but next year it's going to be a little bit cheaper.
Totally
I don't know. No, opposites. Next year it's going to be more.
I'm sticking with diet soda right there.
Do you drink coffee, Justin?
Nope.
No?
See?
Nope.
What is wrong with you guys?
And if I did, I probably wouldn't spend that much. Just saying.
Oh, we know that.
But there's rewards.
Yeah, I stick to my Whataburger rewards.
Oh, I like that too. Chick-fil-A rewards are good too.
Chick-fil-A is a really good reward
They
system.
do. Mm-hmm.
You got kids,
It's a good thing.
get some of those free nuggets. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But I know we're talking reward systems here, but I think Chick-fil-A is one of the best. But you gotta do all the apps, because you do get rewards. Subway,
Yes.
all the places do rewards now. You gotta do it, David.
You have to. I need your phone. I'm going to start installing your favorite restaurants on there.
Pays to be loyal.
Pays to be a loyal customer.
Yes.
Well, just don't put Starbucks on there, because I'm not going there. Unless you
I'll
put it
put
on there for
Starbucks.
you, probably.
Yes.
That's what you just say. Look,
Starbucks and TikTok and see how you react.
Starbucks and TikTok, what a combination, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
All right, guys. Well,
I see my favorite phrase.
yes, since David was here today in honor of David, he's a big fan of the polar vortex. I don't know if you knew this.
Didn't.
So we're going to
polar
ask a
vortex.
question about the polar vortex.
Okay.
When does the polar vortex develop? And by the way, these are counterclockwise winds that are up at the North Pole. And so do they develop during La Nina years, El Nino years, every winter, or they're always there? What do you think?
Ooh, that's a good question. Because see, we're in a La Nina now, and
Yes,
we just
we
had
are.
a polar vortex.
Yes, we did.
That thing was like, ooh, that was every
Yeah.
bit of a polar vortex.
Yeah.
We
I'm
had
gonna
one
let you
last
answer
year.
this because you seem to know a lot about it.
We had one last year. We had 2021 was a polar vortex. I was standing in my yard right in the middle of that polar vortex.
Yeah.
I just like saying polar vortex.
Yeah.
I
How
don't
many
know
times
why.
can you say it?
But I'm going with it's always there.
It's always there.
Yeah,
Okay.
Because I think it's always there.
I'm gonna copy him because he loves the polar vortex.
You guys are right.
Thank you.
High
What's the
five.
trick question is, it is always there. That
Into
sounded
the
like
new
it
year
hurts.
on a high note, baby.
I got one right.
Yeah, you guys.
Well, have you not had one right this week?
No.
Well, see,
There you go.
we got to team up.
Hey, the polar vortex is, I mean, it is always here. It became a thing in 2014. Like, it had always been a scientific term, but then it became part of the vernacular in 2014. If you remember, like Good Morning America started talking about it, and then it just spread, and everyone wanted to talk about the polar vortex. All it is, it's counterclockwise winds around the pole, and they always exist near the Earth's poles. It weakens during the summer and strengthens during the winter. During the winter, sometimes though, it expands and sends cold air southward. And that's when you get the Arctic intrusions, as we call it, where that cold Arctic air spills into the United States.
Arctic intrusions.
Arctic intrusions. I
Love
still
that.
can't get over polar vortex. It's a tongue twister
Yes.
for me.
And
Love it.
don't make the mistake of making a plural and saying polar vortexes, because technically it's polar vortices.
Ah.
See?
Ooh, see, I did not know that.
Yeah.
So that's good. So
That's
over
just
the
an
last 5 years, we've had several polar vortices.
There you go.
Vortices. This
Hey,
is the
vortices.
Weather 101. You're learning
We're
everything.
learning a
like
lot
that.
today.
Grammar 101.
Yeah.
And grammar. No polar vortices this week. We've got warm temperatures actually well above average in some cases as we get into Sunday and Monday. It's going to be pretty warm. Even today, 71, not bad at all. So we've got warm weather ahead, not cold weather. When we look at the radar right now, there are some very, very light returns out there. But as we've seen, much of this is not reaching the ground. It's just maybe a few sprinkles at that. A few very light showers could work their way into the western half of the view area today. We're not going to worry too much about it. And if you're here in San Antonio, I really don't think it's going to be much of an issue at all. We're just going to have a lot of cloud cover. So the KSAT 12-hour forecast, 68 degrees noontime, 69 at 1 o'clock. We'll be up around 71 or so this afternoon, and then this evening, mostly cloudy. Now, it is less humid today than it was yesterday, so you may have noticed that. And that's one of the reasons that the rain's not making it to the ground. It evaporates. It's coming down through that very dry layer, and it just can't make it to the surface. How about New Year's Eve? You heading downtown, or maybe you got plans elsewhere? Looks great. 66 at 8 o'clock tomorrow night, 62 at 10 p.m. and at midnight, 57. Should be awesome to go out and celebrate ringing in the new year. Still some questions as to whether or not I will be awake at this point, but I hope to be.
I like how you put 12 a.m. on there.
Yeah? Well, what should it be?
Well, because, I mean, at midnight.
Midnight.
Oh, okay.
Midnight, 12 a.m.
Technicalities.
I mean, you don't put that on there all the time.
Vortex, vortices, midnight, 12 a.m.
Who's keeping count? I mean,
What was it?
David?
Intrusion something?
Yeah, he is.
What was the thing? Intrusion? What was
Arctic intrusions.
it? Arctic intrusions.
Were you going to be awake for the fireworks?
No. That's what I celebrate with New York.
Oh, yeah.
He celebrates with Australia. He's like,
Stop.
So you're
Bed
not
by
excited.
7.
He's
Bed
not
by 7.
excited for 12 a.m.
No. Well, that's why I was kind of stunned that you put that on there, because I've never really noticed what was like at 12 a.m.
but I will say,
Okay.
New Year's Eve can bring all sorts of wild weather here. I mean, we're in the middle of winter, obviously, so this is going to be one of the better years. When you're talking temperatures, that's about perfect. That's
pretty good.
We all remember the tricentennial.
Oh, yeah.
It's cold.
Ooh.
That was really
Yeah.
cold.
That was a little chilly that
A
night.
little chilly. Yeah.
That was bad.
That
But
was
anyway.
cold. Where you
All
can't
right.
stay out too long, but yeah.
Yeah.
This will be good.
I don't stay out, nor do I stay up that late anyway. So. Enjoy your New Year's Eve, Justin. Thank you. All right, so he was talking about the weather. We had some kind of major weather events happening over the year, but we also had a lot of fun things that actually happened this year, some positive things that happened in 2022. So we'll talk about those. They're on our website, but we want to just kind of review some of the fun stuff that happened, some of the recognition that happened this year.
Yeah, so some of the heartwarming stories that came out of 2022. Right now on KSAT.com, our digital producer, Julie Moreno, she put this together. One of those stories is going to be San Antonio's very own person winning the Scripps National Spelling Bee.
Ronnie Logan took home a little over $50,000. So you learn how to spell, you make money. That's what's pretty good at that. She got some more prizes too. And of course, some epic bragging rights. You got to have the bragging rights to go along with the 50 grand because you can spell.
And yeah, she even got to appear live on Kelly and Ryan,
Wow.
so I'm sure that was a highlight for her. Another story we're going to talk about, two Northeast ISD teachers, they made it to the national stage. Jarrett Littman and Matthew Trevino won the Teachers of Excellence Award at the Country Music Awards in Nashville. Pretty cool.
And we also remember the folks who stepped up in the time of need, like Lake of Cheesecake. They raised more than $72,000 and donated that to the Ukrainian army earlier this year.
And another awesome story that got a lot of attention, a San Antonio couple discovers a natural cavern on their property and gets the attention of hundreds of eager buyers. I remember that story. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, KSAT got an exclusive tour of that cave, and you can watch it and read about that and all these stories, once again, on our website, KSAT.com. So remember, it wasn't all bad. There was some good stuff that happened over the year. Because it's like when we get to the end of the year, we have a tendency to like look back on some of the bad stuff that happened, but there's some good stuff
There
right
were some good things, and hopefully there will be more good to come in 2023.
This was the last show
The very last
of
show.
2022. So good job.
Yeah, thanks for
Glad to
doing
be
it
here
with
with
me.
you for it. This is fun. So we will see you Monday in 2023. Have a very safe holiday weekend. Enjoy yourself.
And a happy new year.